The intention of today's record is simply to portray, using the case study of Albert Omondi Ojwang. We want to use that as a case study of how post-KANU governments have shielded security officers who are killers. I say post-KANU days because during our time, KANU days, security officers used to kill people openly because they knew nothing would happen to them. But in the Kibaki, Uhuru, and now Ruto government, the effect and the strength of the so-called human rights organizations have placed them in such a way that once a security officer has murdered somebody, the government uses all its security mechanism to shield the killers. And so I think it would be appropriate to say Albert Omondi Ojwang, case study of security personnel covering, shielding killers. Yeah, Albert Omondi Ojwang, case study of killers being shielded. I think that is the best name. This is how they may shield Albert Omondi killers. They have done it for decades, and if we are not vigilant, this case will end up like others. I've said they have done it for over 2 decades. Count Kibaki's 10 years, and also Uhuru Muigai's tenure of 10 years. And then you add Ruto's. So they have done it for over approaching 25 years. It is now 23 years. Albert was struggled. He did not struggle himself. He was hit, not just from the front. He was hit from the sideways. He was hit from the legs, etc., etc. Most of the assault was between Homa Bay and Nairobi. Most of the assault was between Homa Bay and Nairobi. When he left Mawingo police station, and before he arrived at Central Police Station, hapo katikati, he was tortured. And yes, he suffered more torture within the cells in Central Police Station, Nairobi. In Central Police Station, Nairobi, there is water in his cells. This is an attempt to interfere with evidence, which in Kenya is a crime. Maybe, just maybe, the Central Police Station team is guilty of accepting to book in somebody who is sick. And also, when some torture occurred in the cells, hence the cleaning, they were aware that a prisoner had been arrested and he was being tortured. By doing nothing, they should be charged. You see, knowing that, being aware that somebody in the cells is being tortured, then doing nothing about it is itself an offense. Preventing the commission of a crime, failing to prevent is a crime. And it is even more serious because the prisoner, after being booked, you see, the time when the prisoner is booked to the time that he is released, his or her welfare is in the hands of the OCS and the personnel at the police station. So the OCS and his team of Central Police Station are guilty of that. They are guilty of accepting to receive a person who was sick. And they are also guilty, because that is what a recruit is taught in Kiganjo. When somebody has been arrested and is sick, you accept him when he's sick, and then instead of taking him to the cells, you take him to the hospital. They wrote that he appeared sick, but there's no indication of them trying to take him to the hospital. According to them, he's sick, and yet still they took him to the cells. And of course, the blood spattern and the trying to wash the cells, it means that apart from, because when they were booking him, they said he appeared sick. This is somebody who was having a meal with his family, and he was very fine. Then a few hours later, he is sick. So this sickness that came abruptly, which of course later led to his death, speaks a lot. But then even after that, there is injury within the police cells. So the OCS and her team have got to answer for that. I think my viewer will remember when I said that even when the toxicological tests come out, they should be treated with a lot of suspicion. Personally, I want to see the toxicological test when they come from the government chemist. But then Waswahili husema aliyeumwa na nyoka akiona nyasi anashtuka. With the due respect, allow me to say why I'll treat that toxicological test with the suspicion. First and foremost, I do not doubt our doctors. I don't want to say that that they'll be like Dr. Kaviti. No. Our pathological not our pathological. They have dealt with him. Now it is the government chemist here. The government chemist, I have full confidence in them. They will not doctor the tests. That one I'm sure. But what I want to talk about, the toxicological test, I want to give myself as an example. Had I died, maybe the toxicological test would have come in a certain way. But let's say this. I was arrested on Monday at 8 p.m. when I got a call from the OCS recruiter calling me to see her. And for many years, I have gone to talk to, even in the middle of the night. That one is known. I don't want to go into my background with all police officers, including Riruta police station. So me, when she called me at 8 p.m., me, I just took it to be a normal or whatever. I'll just go discuss secret security issues and go back where nobody else will know. I was about to have supper, so I just told madam that I'm just rushing to see the OCS and I'm coming back. Can you eat? I said, no, I'll eat after coming back. I want to talk to my fellow men. If we would have followed the African system of not confiding with your wife everything, things may have changed. Suppose I would not have come back alive. But when I left, she said she knew that I was just going to see the OCS and coming back. I came back after 42 hours. Not even 42, I can say 45. Because when you are released at 42 hours, then the 3 hours you reach home or something. Now, supposing anything would have happened to me, because upon arrival, Upon arrival at Riruta police station, I was arrested by Gigiri detectives who never, two things. Because in Kiganjo, we were told of three things as recruits. Remember, I ended up as a very senior officer in the police. The rank was junior, an inspector, but I was a desk officer in charge of criminal intelligence in the whole of Rift Valley. They say it is the office that matters, but not the rank. So, we were taught as recruits that once somebody has been arrested, the arresting officer identifies himself. They never identified themselves. And if you listen to Albert's case, they say that out of the 6 police officers who are there, only 2 identified themselves. At least one was called Sige or something. There were only 2 who identified. The 4 didn't identify. They came 4 of them with submachine guns, and none of them identified themselves to me. 2, I spent a lot of time asking to be told what offense I've been told. I was being told you will be told later. It is only when a lady called me and I told her. When my phone would a phone would come, and then they would tell me, whom have you saved as so and so? Whom have you saved and so and so? And I would tell them I will not tell you. Then they say, then you'll not receive that phone. But when they told me who is this and that, I said she's my niece and she's also my lawyer. When they had the word lawyer, that is when they gave me the phone, and they told me to place it on speakerphone. When, by good luck, she was asking questions that ordinarily a lawyer would ask. So when she asked me, and have they told you why they have arrested you? I said they have not told me. That is when they said, tell her it is computer misuse and whatever. If you go to Mawigo police station and if you go to Riruta police station, they write, DCI do usually write as, they say, being processed by DCI. And I've said it, I'll repeat, in future, the OCS should be given powers to reject that. The DCI must convince you why they are arresting the person. This thing of saying that processing, anyway, let us stop there. Another thing that when I was arrested, I was in Kiganjo, we used to be told as recruits 1982, we were told that when you arrest somebody, you give him an opportunity to inform his people where he has been arrested so that they can visit him. We used during those days there used to be landline. So somebody who has been arrested and wants to use a telephone line, he would be given, but he would pay for that phone call. And the person used to be given an opportunity to inform 3 different people why he has been arrested and where he has been arrested. They never told me why I've been arrested. They never told me to tell people who at least 3 people. And these days when everybody has a mobile phone, you call anybody you want. They never gave me that opportunity. And I had left home telling my wife, I'm just rushing to see the OCS and I'm coming back. So if my wife would not have known that I've gone to Riruta, she would not know. So I ended up in Gigiri. And my wife would not have known if where I have been taken. And if I would have been lost, it would be just a case that he said he's stretching his legs and coming back and never to be seen. Why should somebody be lured to the nearest police station, then taken out of that police station to all other places? In crime, they say that a person is arrested wherever the crime is committed. Now, Albert committed the crime. Let us say he committed in Homa Bay. Why was he not taken to Homa Bay? And again, a person is, okay, maybe he committed in Mombasa where he used to work. Why was he not taken to Mombasa? He was arrested in Homa Bay. Why was he not taken to Homa Bay? he's taken to police stations which are known. They are being taken to stations that they are known, that, because they cannot predict how these other police stations will act, and you are taken to a police station that they know and can predict the outcome. And again, as I said that he was tortured between Homa Bay and Central Police Station. I can tell you that between Riruta to Gigiri via Udhiru and Kangemi, I was tortured, not physically, but mentally, being asked questions such as why I was exposing NIS secrets. You see, these are DCI people questioning me about exposing NIS secrets. I told them that, first of all, I am capable of knowing if I have annoyed NIS. So I know I have not annoyed them, but I am capable of knowing when I've annoyed them. I can tell my view and right now that I've not annoyed them. Because the last time I was at Helb at Anniversary Town, I went to Nyati House and I was well received. I was one of them, so I know. I know when I've done wrong. I know when they are not happy with me. So I told them I am capable of knowing if I've bypassed what they expect of me. Second, I told them I knew that if NIS were not pleased with me and wanted to take action against me, against what we call Official Secrets Act, there was or there is ways of handling such issues. There was and there is ways of handling such issues, and the ways and methods of handling such issues does not include what do we call does not include the DCI. They can either use chiefs and administrators, or they can use the AP, they can use the National Police Service, but not that. So I told them DCI was illiterate as much as matters of intelligence is concerned. Sorry if I'm veering off the story, but the truth is, the bitter truth is, from the day President Ruto was portrayed in a coffin, from the day President Ruto was portrayed in a coffin, a feeling was brought out that, apart from social media guys who say that Karachuonyo FC scored 7-0 against Gor Mahia, that is, apart from those people who talk harmless things, any complaint about social media tends to portray that tends to portray anybody negatively should be hit by a sledgehammer. You see, the day when the Jinsi started showing the president in a funeral procession, a decision, an unwritten law was passed out, that any complaint that is made about social media should be hit by a sledgehammer. This is similar to finding a petty thief and then taking him to face a firing squad. You see, when it comes to judgment, when it comes to punishment, the punishment should be equivalent to the offense. If it is a mass murderer, then he can face a firing squad. But if he is a petty thief, why take him before a firing squad? If true I had made any mistake, behind Dagoretti Chief's camp is a brand new law court. Why didn't they just arrest me at Riruta police station? Take me to the new Dagoretti law courts. It is because that they knew that the Riruta OCS cannot be corrupted. Not only that, they also knew that they didn't know him. They didn't know her. They didn't know the OCS Riruta And so they had to take me to a police station where they knew the OCS and they knew how they would handle things. Remember, Gigiri, where I was taken, is the same place that Jimanji, the person who had the quarry case, escaped. Now for me, who just talked something at hey, we bwanaka anakufa na unapembelezwa na police driver wa Gigiri kuuza shamba 30 million. Hey, they looked for 4 armed police officers with the submachine guns, as if I was a threat to the country, but a threat to women of Kenya, a threat to women in Africa and the whole world. Jimanji was left in this very same police station. Have you ever heard of somebody escaping Riruta police station? No, I've never heard. Maybe, but I've never heard. So they were taken to a police station that they knew that it's a holding ground for everything. So far, I have talked about DCI selecting identified police stations, isn't it? It may have been hard or even impossible to process Albert at Mawingo police station, just like I've said about Riruta police station. They choose a station that they are comfortable with. That is, I'm answering Dr. Oburu why they did not process Albert in those nearby police stations and had to take to a police station which had conducive environment. Dr. Oburu rightly feels that Albert should have been processed at Homa Bay and taken to Homa Bay courts. But as I've said, they had to look for a police station with an environment that is conducive to their evil. And I'm using myself as an example. The law says that one should be taken to the court with jurisdiction. Now, cyberspace means all courts have got jurisdiction. If you are staying in Kilimani and your house help steals your iPad and goes with it to Lwahaha, if she's arrested, she'll be taken to Kilimani police station because she stole your iPad at Kilimani police station, Kilimani area, so Kilimani police station. But if it is something that it is misuse of what do you call misuse of cyber, why do they go for specific stations? So I think I've emphasized a lot about why certain police stations are used by detectives. And who knows, whatever they get, maybe the OCS in those stations are. So why use a police station that they know that the OCS may not sing along? Another thing, why didn't they just send one constable by bus? He arrests Albert in Homa Bay, then deals with the Homa Bay courts. You know, that is less expensive because that constable would be used for transport and allowances and whatever. Why use one vehicle, 6 detectives to 700 kilometers, and even higher, 6 do this? Let us look at, let us now call it ABCD, isn't it? Let us call it ABCD. And ABCD, by ABCD I mean 1, A. If we call it ABCD, I want to say that A is where the complainant stays. B is where the suspect is apprehended. And C, where the suspect is booked. Why should you arrest somebody in Nakuru? The complainant, okay, let me give an example. Because this is a cyber crime, but let us just take it this way. The complainant stays in Nyeri. The accused stays in Nakuru. And you arrest somebody and take him to Machakos. Why don't you arrest the suspect where he has been found? Or why don't you arrest the person and take, why don't you arrest the suspect and take the suspect to the nearest station where the complainant stays? In my case, Koitobos Road is in Hadi police station. Why didn't they arrest? Because from Riruta to Hadi is nearer than from Riruta to Buruburu. The complainant stays in Hadi. I stay in Riruta, Kawangware, and I'm taken to Gigiri. Why Gigiri? Gigiri because that is where the femicide was found. And that is the station that can be controlled more than Hadi and more than Riruta. So that is the case of ABC. In Albert's case, let's say the complainant works at Vigilance House. Albert was arrested in Homa Bay and he was booked in Buruburu. I mean, no, he was booked in not Buruburu, but Central Police Station. Why is it that the complainant stays in A, the suspect stays in B, and the accused is taken to a police station that is C? And then you ask yourself, how is this place where the suspect is taken to, how is it connected to the offense? Specifically, more if Albert was taken to Kisumu, it would be said, okay, he's taken to Kisumu because it is nearer where he was arrested. If he was arrested in Kilifi, it would be near where he works in Mombasa. But why be taken to specific stations? It is taken to specific stations because, first of all, before an idea is decided to arrest somebody, groundwork is done to make sure that he's taken to a station with a conducive environment. That is the only thing I can say. I want to talk about toxicology. I've told you that Ngahikandenda, I will see that toxicology report and then decide whether to trust it or not. Don't think that I think that the government chemist will be compromised. No, I don't. I have full confidence in them. The toxicology test, will come and may, as I said, that Albert had certain. They may come and say that Albert had certain chemicals in his system. So it will be concluded that with that type of drugs in his system, those drugs are known to make somebody have what we call suicidal tendency. This was planned to coincide with his hitting himself on the wall. Now, supposing the tests come, suppose the tests come and say that he had taken certain drugs. You know, you'll be given some scientific names like when they talk of you being found with the bang, they say you are found with cannabis sativa. So whatever drugs you'll see, the government chemist will come and say his liver had this and that drug and whatever. And you see, the history of that drug makes it possible for somebody who has taken that drug to have suicidal tendencies, and that may explain why he was started hitting his head and whatever. You see, yes, I'm not doubting the chemist because he'll be telling the truth that those systems, and truly they may be found in Albert's system. I don't doubt that. And I'm not good in chemistry. I'm not good in chemistry from Form 1. But what I know is that maybe that drug somebody can explain scientifically that somebody can get a lot of nguvu, a lot of energy to even strangle himself and choke himself. I'm not trying to say that the what do you call the chemist is wrong or anything. No, the chemist will, whatever he'll say, it is true. But what I'm trying to say is that from Homa Bay to Nairobi, I've never traveled from Homa Bay to Nairobi, But those of you who have traveled from Homa Bay to Nairobi, is it possible for you to travel from Homa Bay to Nairobi without stopping anywhere for a drink or something to eat? Now, how secure is it that whatever Albert ate or drank between Homa Bay and Nairobi was not spiked? You see, it could be spiked. And that spiking, because the chemist has no capacity to show whether the indigested chemicals was he took it or he was forced to take. Hmm? Are you getting me? The chemist can say that he in his system he had drugs that is called blah blah blah, abracadabra, isn't it? And the drugs are capable of making him have suicidal tendencies. And you see, for the drugs to be given to him, they are given to him deliberately, so that it is found in his system, and then it is said that, you see, the theory of him banging his head now comes, yeah, with that drug makes anybody feel crazy. But then, before I continue that, I would say no crime is perfect. And I want to tell those who are younger than me, because very soon I'll join Jesus. I want to tell those who are younger than me is that the the only way you can not be caught cheating. You want to know if you want to be caught cheated, but let me give you a system and a formula. If you don't want to be caught cheating, if you don't want to be caught cheating, there is only one formula: don't cheat. If you follow that formula, you will never be caught cheating. But if you talk, and you see, this is where now I tell you, as somebody who's about to join Jesus, this is something I have to tell you, that you can talk 1,000 things, which are 999 things which are true, but you give there one sentence that is lying, isn't it? And it will come. What am I saying? I'm saying you may give 1,999 sayings, saying ABCD, which is true, and then you say one which is a lie, and you see most of us know about that one. Hmm? So we say, okay, this one that is lying, what about that? It will now contaminate the other 999. So the best thing not to be caught lying is don't cheat. If you don't cheat, you'll never be caught lying. So that is why I'm saying that even if they use the chemicals and whatever, uh, it will come out and say they may use the chemicals excuse and say ABCD, but then it will still not come out. But I'm trying to say how it is possible for the chemist to come out. Uh, I'm saying how it is possible for somebody to come out and be said that he had taken something, and that thing is the one that caused him to have that tendency. That is the plan that has come, and I'm repeating saying that please don't cheat, because the little cheating, that you'll have will affect the other one. Now, let me give an example of me of the same thing, because right now I may have been dead. And it would have been said that Kumbe Mzee takes drugs secretly. Uh, I was arrested on Monday evening and released on Wednesday afternoon, a period of 42 hours. I was released after 42 hours, which is way more than the required 24 hours. I was never taken to court for the 42 hours. And then I was released at 1:30 p.m. And in the 42 hours, if you add a few hours, let's say, is it 5 or 6 hours? That would be 48 hours. If you add 6 hours, it would be 48 hours. And in 48 hours, somebody is supposed to have had 6 meals, isn't it? 2 lunches, 2 suppers, and 2 breakfasts. But in those 42 hours, I only had 2 cups of tea and 4 slices of bread. On Tuesday morning, I was served with 1 cup of tea and 2 slices of bread. And on Wednesday morning, I was served 1 cup of tea and 2 slices of from the canteen, which I took in the presence of other cellmates. Now for 42 hours, I was starving. I was starving. What happened in my case is that during meal times, I was conveniently taken to the DCI offices for interrogation. Because of space and time, I will not talk about the interrogation. I will say that I was treated like a prisoner of war, and over 80% of the questions they were asking me had nothing to do with with my blogging. One of the offenses was that I had disagreed with 10 of my relatives, and the complainant was saying that atani atanigomesha atanikomesha, she'll make sure that I'll no longer continue kukosana na watu. Actually, even one of the investigation officers asked me why I accused me of stopping my son from contesting an MCS position. So you can say that 80% of what I was being interrogated for had nothing to do with my social media posts or anything. Yes, at meal times, I was conveniently not in the cells when food came. Monday, I did not take supper. Tuesday, I never took lunch and supper. And Wednesday, I never had lunch. How many meals are those? Monday, 1 meal. Tuesday, 2 meals. Wednesday, 1 meal. Those are how many? Monday 1, Tuesday 2 makes it 3, Tuesday 2, and Wednesday 4 meals. I was not given 4 meals. I did not have 4 meals. What am I trying to say here? A situation was being created where I imagine for 42 hours you have not taken anything about 2 cups of tea and 4 slices. That means you are very hungry. If you see that, if I'm not wrong, I think lunch is. I know you are laughing, saying, "How don't if I stayed for 3 days in the cell, why am I not sure about meal times?" Well, I'm not sure about meal times because when lunch and supper was being taken by others, I was conveniently removed there under pretext of being interrogated. So at around Tuesday at around 3 p.m., 3 p.m., that is, I'd spent 15 hours in custody with only 1 cup of tea and 2 slices, no water, no nothing. At around 3 p.m., this is what happened. That is, I was very hungry, and the complainant had bought 2 plates of ugali from wherever, I don't know. I think I think Gigiri police station, police canteen. She bought 2 plates of ugali and 2 plates of cabbage. Boy, I was hungry. Boy, I was hungry. Vile niliosha mikono yangu. But as I was about to eat, you see that is double food. As I was about to eat, I noticed that it was cabbage and ugali. I refused. That thing is there on the social media. I'm saying this because 1 hour, that was 3 p.m. That was 3 p.m. And at 4 p.m., that thing has already been broadcasted on social media. Between me and you, police cells are restricted places. That is why in the military camp you see notice that no shooting or recording of anything within the military place. Even whatever is happening in interrogation rooms, first of all, the complainant is not supposed to be there. The second thing, she bought lunch, and I was so hungry. You see, my deliberately staying hungry was to make me have that appetite. But I was about to eat it. I noticed it is something ugali and cabbage, and I refused. And they tried to force me to eat the way the prisoners of war are. If I can, for lack of a better example, I can tell you. Do you remember? Have you seen a movie where they call it drowning method? Drowning method, where somebody is placed in the water and then whatever. Mine was almost that type. And so they wanted to force me, and I told them I last ate cabbages in 1969. That thing, a relative uploaded it on Cabra's welfare page, and I have a screenshot for that. So imagine at 3 p.m. I'm being forced to eat ugali and cabbage, which has been bought by the complainant from the police canteen. And I thank God, that I stopped eating cabbages in early 70s. Otherwise, I would have eaten it. And I said, no, 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 no. They said, but mzee, umekaa sana bila kula. I said, GSU training school, we were trained to survive 1 week without eating. What about 3 days? So there was an attempt to force me, and I am, and I refused. By good luck, my wife was there. And she had bought me. I don't know where she had bought chips with 2 blackcurrant sodas. So she produced it, and I just took that, and I think they must have regretted me not eating that. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that this is how bloggers are being killed. If I would have eaten that ugali, maybe uh, the toxicological college, why am I calling it toxicological college? The toxicological tests would have shown that in my system, in my abdomen, there were certain drugs or whatever, which leads to maybe a stroke or something. That is how bloggers are being killed. We will now have, we should have, I mean, I want to, sorry, I'm becoming emotional. I want to say this. I want to tell the government once again that if you are uncomfortable with social media, for any reason, the reason saying that it started when Ruto had been whatever is my own estimation. I may be wrong, I may be right. But if for any reason you don't want social media to continue, there are 3 ways. Is it 2 or 3? One, take a law to take a bill to court. Say that from today henceforth, no social media in Kenya. And the other one, use what Uganda and Tanzania does. I think Ruto admires those dictators, so he can go and borrow a leaf from them. Where during election times or such things, at the convenience of the president of Uganda or even the president of Tanzania, they usually switch off the internet for a period that they want. Na hakuna kitu inatendeka. One thing I have an issue with the current president is one. Let what you are talking in public be what you are doing in private. Don't be a two-faced person. I may talk that one later, but not now. I don't know whether I have Stockholm syndromes, but the good thing about Moi government or even Jomo Kenyatta's government is that when they killed, they did not use sophisticated methods to cover up. You see, if Moi government wanted to kill me, they'd just come shoot me and go. This thing of starving me and then giving me food that is laced with I don't know what. Or even when Moi felt that he had to explain, he used to give very good examples. I'll give you one example. He would say that Ouko shot himself. Then after he has shot himself dead, he took a jerrycan of petrol and burned himself an hour after dying. Such statements are what we call dead ends. Dead end stories. Dead end stories are stories that when you are told, you don't spend time scratching your head trying to make sense about it. No. Dead end stories is you hear it and it ends there. Because if someone tells you that Ouko shot himself and then took out a jerrycan and burnt himself, he says, you don't even question that fact. But Kibaki government, Uhuru government, and Ruto government, they come up with a certain stories that we spend time like now. I'm about to finish an hour talking about something that would have even taken 3 seconds to say, it is the government that has stolen, it is the government that has killed him. So let us not talk about it. Some Nigerians said that when farmers knew how to shoot without missing, birds learned how to fly without flopping. Kanu's government would kill without blinking their eye. There are ways that they kill and there is nothing that will happen. But the way the Kibaki, Uhuru, and Ruto governments are doing, it is very bad. Uh, you'll forgive me if I say that why should they kill your person and pretend to be to be innocent? Just do it the way Kanu used to do. Eh? Jomo Kenyatta took the JM report, tore some pages and whatever. So it was obvious. Eh? If you don't, I said, if you don't want to be caught cheating, then don't cheat, isn't it? If you don't want to be asked why you killed, then don't kill. Let me give the last case. I want to give several scenarios, but I'll start with the last case first. Uh, the people, the people whom we have got to focus on, they have arrested people, isn't it? They have arrested OCS and other people. But the people to focus on are the detective who left Homa Bay with him to Nairobi. These are the people who should have been arrested first. But there's a time I was arguing with some people. I was talking about a prominent person. I said, hey, Kierere yako, don't you think he knows those things? He knows better than me by 10 times or even 100 times. But when I'm correcting him, I know he knows. But you see, I'm pinpointing to him that we are not as stupid as you think we look. Because the first people who are supposed to be arrested are those people who had. There are these two police stations. There is the police station in Nyanza and the Central Police Station. Who are these people who took him from the Mawigo Police Station to Central? Those are the people who are supposed to, because over 90% of the harming, including spicing of food, happened on the way. It has even been calculated that the time they spent on the way is more than what a bus usually do. And buses travel slower than personal vehicle. So those are the people. But the police knows that, the authority knows that they have arrested the wrong person conveniently. Because somewhere, the case will continue, where it will reach somewhere where ODPP will declare, or even the courts will declare that the file has insufficient evidence. And you know what happens in Kenya? Today, everybody is talking about Albert Omondi Ojwang. 6 months from today, apart from people who are close to him, we will have moved on. And you see, they are trying to just to have that story, and then it continues. And then we continue. I'll give a second example. There are about 20 examples, but I'll give a second and last. Baby Pendo. Baby Pendo, some people even approached me to give an expert opinion. They were trying to, I think as of now, they must not have been, the Baby Pento's family did not give them authority to shoot the video. Because when you talk a video about somebody who died and the family does not approve of your theory, then you don't shoot. It being the way it is, let me say how Baby Pendo died. The OCS Kondele gave orders for crowd control. Then the crowd control, people started exchanging stones with the police and the people ran away. So one of the demonstrators rushed and entered into Baby Pento's home, 10 by 10, and 2 or 3 police officers entered that house and clobbered everybody in that room. When they clobbered everybody in that room, they found Mama Pendo with Baby Pendo and they clobbered her. Actually, we can never blame Mama Pendo because of her reflex. Maybe even once or twice, she tried either to show them the baby or even try to shield herself with the baby. And the baby was beaten hard. So, if an adult can be beaten that way and an adult becomes physically disabled for the rest of his life, what of a baby? That is what killed Baby Pendo. And if we have to look for justice for Baby Pendo, we have to look for the person, the is it 2 or 3 police officers who entered that room, even if it is one. That is the killer. Now sending the OCS and other people who did that is a very clear indication. That is a very clear indication that wrong people have been arrested. I'm told now that they are going to change a spinal code to make it such a way that if an OCS sends a constable to go and do some work and the constable extends it at whatever, that one goes even to the OCS. That idea is good. That idea is good, and that idea is because it will give a lot of authority to the OCS to command the constable and so on and whatever, to be very particular in whatever is happening. But the funny thing here is that they want to use that law to charge the OCS and other police commanders who did that to Baby Pendo. And you know, by law, you cannot make a case tomorrow. You cannot create a case today and somebody who committed it yesterday be charged under that. It happens only in Uganda. Uganda, you can see when the constitution was found that civilians cannot be tried in a military court, they were not released. The military rushed to parliament, had a new act happening, and then they were being charged under the new charge. In Kenya and in other democracies, if for example, like today in Kenya, smoking ban is an offense. So if I'm arrested today with ban, smoking, or even possessing, and in the due course of the case going on, it is said that from now on people will be allowed to smoke bang for what do you call leisure. In America, they have a law that says that bang smoking is illegal for commercial purpose, but for leisure purpose is allowed. So you are allowed to walk around with misokoto tatu ama ine yako tu ya kujiburudisha in some certain towns in America. So if such a law can be passed in Kenya, and yesterday I was caught with misokoto tatu, but today it is said that you are allowed to go with misokoto ine ama tano, not more than 5. I cannot be charged with today. I cannot be the law that started today cannot be used for me for an offense that I did yesterday. Usually, you are charged with an offense bearing in mind at that time when the alleged offense happened. So that is why I wanted to say that it is we cannot do that. I mean, you cannot have a law today that says that the OCS at that time who sent, it will mean that from tomorrow, any OCS who sends constables out for work, he'll be answerable for what the constable does. Lastly, I've had, by the way, people should, Gashagwa should pay me for the usage of the word cousin, because I've been calling him Mufiala, and he has started Mufiala. By the way, Mufiala in Luya is cousin, so he has started Mufiala politics. He's trying to say about, if you notice, he's talking of police commanders. No, not police commanders, but any government departments where the in charges are Kalenjin and the deputy. The in charges are Kikuyu and the deputies are Kalenjin. But you'll notice that apart from one example, all of them he's just commenting about his Kikuyu. He's not even talking of other tribes. Ati amewekewa Mkikuyu hapa. That leads me to the story of Lagat. Lagat was not placed there by Ruto, no. Lagat is a stooge of Kanja. When Kanja was the commandant of GSU, Lagat was the deputy commandant of GSU. When Kanja was made the DIG police, he made Lagat to be the commandant of GSU. And when Kanja was made the IGP, so you see, He's pulling up his person. Na ndio hiyo tribalism we have in the police, especially with the GSU. When GSU officers are in charge, usually promote people of their whatever. So the matter of Lagat being there, he was pulled from down there. He was pulled from down there by Kanja, because when Kanja was the commandant, Lagat was the deputy commandant. When Kanja was the DIG, he made Lagat be the commandant of GSU. And when he ended up at the IGP, he made he made Lagat be the commandant of GSU. That is the truth, and let us not allow. You see, the problem with bringing in side shows, we lose our focus. We lose what the truth is. So that is the truth about Lagat, but he should resign.